shall see.
The universe.
We shall see.
Your viewpoint is absolutely sacred. For one simple reason.
Yes, sir. Shall
You're the only one who can have it.
Yo, this guy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to We Shall See. I am co-captain of this ship, the Young Avell, here with my brother.
Corey McEnroe speaks.
And welcome to We Shall See. I know it's been a little minute, but you know, life sometimes, but still, that's no excuse. We'll have a more consistent regimen for you guys. Thanks for tuning in, brother. It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. It's been a couple days since we caught up.
I think that's the best way to put it, man. Is life just be lifing, and it has definitely lifed for me. I don't know if you can tell, but
yeah. Yo, big stuff that you did since you were in your first play, right? You did a nice little light show.
First play since many years ago. I've been on the stage before. But yeah, I had to grow this beard because I did not want to look like a high schooler around a bunch of high schoolers. I'm lucky I still look young. So if I shave,
you had to stand out.
Yeah, if I shave, I look like I could be a high schooler, so I didn't want to confuse anybody. So I was like, in the play, my role was a father. I was a character's father, so I was like, all right, let me grow the beard, because it just kind of started to happen, and it clicked in my head, and I was like, I should grow this out. It makes sense, and Asia likes it, and I think it's kind of growing in nice, which is cool.
Yeah, look good. I think you look good with a nice little beard.
Yup, and so this is my whole thing about beards, right? The very first time we went to Camp Disco 11, me, Tyler, Timbo, Benny C, Sarah, okay? So very unique group. Tyler meets this dude. Tyler was killing people all weekend. I shouldn't say killing. Tyler was illuminating people all weekend with the numbers, as was I. This is 2011, so we're early in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is when the fire is lit.
Yeah, we're early in it. This is Tyler likes putting people on. Another session turn.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's like the best line you've ever written. So, fucking Tyler likes putting people on. Another session turn.
Conscious. Now people want to know. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
God, people don't even know Tyler, but they know the line. Anyway, so this dude met Tyler, and he was like, yo, grow a beard. He was like, you have the knowledge. Grow a beard.
You have the knowledge.
That's the saying that. Kept saying that you have the knowledge. Grow a beard. So like, I find that really interesting, man. That like, you know, I feel where I am, and I'm at my life, and like also. When my dad got married, he had a beard. And when like my brother and I were first born, my dad had a beard. And like, we're going to do the whole, you know, bring life into this world next year. So I really want to have like the solid grown man beard. So like right when my kids come out the womb, they're like male. like that's a dad with a beard, even though he's got long hair. Like that's definitely dad, definitely mom.
Mom didn't get with a high schooler, you know.
Yeah. So but I digress. The play was a blast. I had such a fun time, man. I've learned so much about expressing yourself and how that can feel really good, and I'm sure that you get that so much, man. I mean, you've been such a consistent writer. And I actually, something happened with me yesterday where I went on a hike with a friend of mine, and you may or may not know Mikey Browse. He kind of came into our life very late. In 2019, he's like a Vinny friend. He would fucking love you. He's all about like ice baths and working out. Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good kid. But he was like, yo, when I hit like 21, I tried to be a rapper. And I was like, word, okay.
Nice.
Okay.
We've been down this road.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. So he was like, one of the hardest things I found was consistency writing. consistency of writing and making songs. And I immediately thought of you. And I guess my biggest question for you is like, how are you able to write so much and so plentiful and always like give us something new, variety, continue to keep the same style? Like, how do you do it?
Man, it's interesting you say that because I literally sometimes when I'm working on a current track, so first things first is just consistency of journaling. I think like journaling itself keeps that door open. And
Mhm.
like when I'm journaling, I'm not necessarily working on music. I'm just writing my thoughts of what happened to the day, my affirmations, whatever. I do that fairly consistently. And I'll have a, one or two songs that I'm working on at the moment. And then it's so funny because recently I'm doing a lot of melodic tracks where I'm like singing and stuff like that. And then an ad comes up for a beat and it's like booming. And I'm like, I save it. Next thing you know, I open it up and then the bars just come. And the first line literally is like, every once in a while, I need to resurrect the bars. Maybe it's the jersey inside of me that's just extra large. You know what I'm saying? Like it just happens. Yeah, it just happens. It just happens. Set in my internal trajectory and it's set for Mars. Watch your words. I check statements like, what's that extra charge? Yo, yeah, yeah, it just happens, right? And then so I'll get like four lines, and I'm like, I should. This is good enough for me to like just let the beat kind of just draw it out of me, and
Yeah,
then I kind of
yeah,
it's
yeah.
mixed about what shit is happening to me currently, because literally currently I got double charged at the Kava bar, and so like I saw that on my statements, so it just life you just integrate the life your life with the bars, kind of just I think it happens naturally when you're a creative. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like you got that thing in you. The same way that when you hear me and you get together and we're on an L ride, right? And we just throw on a grammatic beat, we're not gonna not freestyle.
exactly. Even just getting in the room with Shawnee, we can make a track in a night pretty
Oh,
quickly.
Best Buds.
Yeah,
Yo, matter of fact, yo, y'all listening to this, go check out Best Buds. Me and Core and our buddy Shawnee, we dropped the whole album. It's
yeah.
called Best Buds. Check it
7
out.
tracks.
7 tracks, light up to it. It's a bop. We got bars singing and
Fun. It's a good
three
time.
best friends, man.
Yeah,
So yeah.
BSTBUDS, Best Buds,
But
on
yeah, man.
Spotify, on Apple Music,
What do
on
you
YouTube.
so I seen that because I know you definitely don't write as much as you used to, even though I know you got a new poem connect that I want to hear about. But I seen that
Yeah,
you've been going out in nature a lot, like hiking Stissing Mountain. So
yeah.
tell me about that. Like you be dolo, you going with friends or what?
I try to invite a friend or bring a friend as much as I can. I love going dolo. Love going dolo. I mean, it's the best fucking mountain. It's the best. I like running parts of it.
How
Um,
long is that hike?
it's quick, man. It's 40 to 45 minutes up and then 40 minutes down. It's so quick. It happens in the blink of an eye. It happens in fifths. Like I've broke it down in a few videos and a few TikToks. I've literally broken down the fifths of it. Like it
Mm.
is the best mountain. And I swear by it. Like I go up it and I just get so much clarity. And like, it's funny, man. Like writing for me, doing anything with my right hand now, I try to avoid, especially after the damage that Becca did. Like I'm just now starting to get 90% health back in this hand because Becca
Mm.
really bopped me. Cat,
Yeah.
everybody, for if you don't understand,
Yeah,
it's cat.
Becca's the cat that, the cat behind Core kind of.
Not anymore. This is Chief
Yeah,
Man. Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, uh, I don't write as much. I try to just lay off my hands. But I find myself definitely reading a bit more, in particularly because this woman bought me a book, The
Mm.
Body Keeps the Score. And
Mm.
that kind of circles me back around to like I'm learning so much about trauma and I'm learning how our bodies hold trauma and
Yeah.
I'm learning that expression breaks that trauma free.
That's why you were saying that's why you were saying express on some of your TikTok videos recently, right?
Yeah, man. And like and this is what I've known innately for a while, and I kept running from it because my ego kept wanting to press a button that clearly didn't need to be pressed anymore, and this is what happens. But so just quick example. When Coach Fuller died, that was a coach who was very near and dear to my heart. I was 15 years old. He passed away right in front of me. We were running around the track together. This is my coach at Millbrook Prep School. He was very, very close to me. And he was an athletic guy for me. And he was going to really turn me into a superior athlete. And he passed away. So, like, my trajectory as a person and definitely as an athlete changed. And the first thing I did when I showed up at school next year was not hit the weight room really hard and become a
Mm.
super athlete. I, without telling anybody, showed up and went to assembly. We had all school assembly, and I just waited in line to make an announcement. And I got up. I didn't tell anybody I was doing this, and I did 10 jokes, and I did stand up, bro. And Tyler and I, 3 nights before school started, were playing Madden super late. And I was cracking him up. I was killing him about like, oh, we're gonna go to do orientation. We're gonna do these stupid games. Like, what's your name? What's my name? Like, I had all this stuff of like what I'm
Oh my
like
gosh, that's
like
cool.
what I'm excited to go to school for. Top 10 things I'm excited to be here.
Oh, that's so great. Oh, I wish I could see that.
So I went up, TJ, and killed. You know what I mean? It was the most remarkable thing because I went up there just like knowing that I made Tyler laugh and knowing that like I'll at least make Tyler laugh again in this
Supreme
crowd of
confidence.
people.
Yeah,
So I
supreme
just
confidence.
crushed, absolutely annihilated. So like I and then when I left college baseball in 2010, found Jacqueline, found acoustic bars. And it was like found spirituality, found numerology, astrology, found like breaking away from sports. And like I always encourage the athletes that I meet to, and I tell them like, yo, if you're an athlete, you're actually a creative. If you
Mm.
play any sport, you're a creative. You cross people up and then shoot and score. That's just like being on a stage and nailing some lines.
Poetry in motion.
It's the
Poetry in
same
motion.
thing, bro. If you play a sport and people come and watch you play that sport, they're watching you physically express.
That's
If you
why it's called poetry in motion.
Yes, yes.
Mm. Mm.
So I value expression now so much, and just really trying to pump and get more expression out. And I've jockeyed back and forth with, because I have two TikTok accounts. I have Corey McEnroe Speaks and I have Corey McEnroe Cats. Mind you, this dude right here has the most views of any of my TikToks.
Chief, man.
the
Three-legged
first
chief.
the first day we put him on TikTok, 1,200 views. Bow right in your face.
Cats. Love it. Everybody loves cats.
So I've like debated back and forth between like doing like Corey McEnroe poems and like Corey McEnroe sweats, like kind of like more focused channels.
Yeah.
But then I saw a dude that was like, you should just really make sure you can figure out one channel before you try to figure out a bunch of channels.
Very true. Very true.
But
I got my question of sparking off that is do you have to express a certain way in order to release whatever is locked up in your body? Because that's pretty spot on with the body. What is it? The body stores. What's the name of the book?
the body keeps the score.
The body keeps the score. Because I've read so many books that not so many. I've read a book that basically postulated the same thing, that your body is your unconscious mind, basically, and it stores it stores your tensions in your body, and
Yeah.
the traumas and stuff like that. So do you have to have specific types of expressions in order to release traumas? Like, how deep do they have to be? Is it as
Uh,
simple as it as
I
simple as working on a creative craft, or do you need to express yourself in emotionally? You know what I'm saying? Like,
so I it's really funny that you bring this up because the video that put me in TikTok clamps a couple weekends ago. Remember you
yeah,
and I were talking about that?
yeah,
The
I plan
first
too.
the first one that sent me in the clamps was me going, "Do you make yourself laugh?" I make myself laugh all the time. And like I make myself laugh all the time.
Mm,
I crack myself up. And I think that that has to do like that's a really strong part of self-love. It's just like finding yourself funny and like
mm,
being able to just like make yourself laugh and being goofy, like being comfortable being silly. I
yeah.
think it's so important. Like that's the biggest thing we're asking all of these high school actors. Be playful all the
Mm,
time. Be goofy. Cause like there's this one kid, TJ, you'll love him, man. He like really wants to be like a James Bond. Like I think I was like, yo, you need to watch the Blade movies because like you would be great as like a bad guy trying to fight Blade, like a Mr. Anderson, you know what I mean? But he's
yeah.
already like trying to get in shape, and he's like a very like smart but serious kid, you know? And I just want to be like, if we can get you to be super silly and funny, you know, and like you can be like a goof and walk in the room and be like, "What's up, bro?" But then at the same time, you can channel the super focus,
Yeah.
you know, like if you can do both things. And like as athletes, we're always taught to be that like I'm focused, I'm the quarterback. Like you always do this with some of your things that you post of you lifting, and it's not you talking but it's somebody else, and he's like, I ain't taking no days off. That's not how it's gonna be. I'm gonna
Yeah.
wake up every day and get it. That's what it
Yeah.
is. That's how we grind.
Yeah.
Like there's parts of like that's life, but like there's also parts of life that are like you have to be able to like laugh at because like that attitude, I'm gonna wake up every day and do it, is not putting my thumb back on my hand.
Yeah.
I can wake up every day and say I'm getting a thumb back on my hand because I'm a manifested creator. So I'm doing it. It's not growing a thumb back on my hand.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier for me to have a lightened approach to this. Like anytime someone asks me about it, they're like, "Do you mind me telling me what happened?" I'm like, "Not at all. This is what happened." It's like it's therapy for me to talk about it. It's therapy for me to joke about it. Like me and Timbo and Dad and Tyler are going to the Knicks game next week, and Timbo is like, "You gonna bring a sign?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna hold it up with both hands." You know, like
Yeah.
you know, like
That's great. That's great. Yeah,
yeah,
that humor definitely breaks up the monotony of like, just being so serious and the seriousness of life, because life is serious business, but it also is lighthearted and joyful and happy and positive, and that's a good point. I think people have to, make a little effort to find that in themselves. I mean, it's easier said than done, especially related to how much trauma you have, but it's worth the
yeah,
try.
yeah,
It's worth the
yes,
try. I saw something interesting. I listened to something interesting on a podcast over the weekend, and they were talking about how, because it feels like a lot of my friends have been going through some trying times the past few months. And, I dropped this little gem that I picked up from the podcast, was like, yo, you don't know what the moment that you're in actually represents until, like, give yourself 5 years. Like 5 years down, 5 years in the future, you'll look back and you'll have a good frame of reference of what this moment that you're going through actually represents. Because sometimes we find ourselves in challenges and stuff like that, and it's like the end of the world, or like, what? How do I get out of this? Like, where am I going? What is why did this just happen? You know, why did this just happen to me? Why did this not just go my way? And when you're immediately in the moment and you're asking yourself those questions, you're probably not going to have that answer. But if you give yourself like 2 years, 5 years, look back, like for example, I look back at, when I left, I remember when I left Millbrook or Poughkeepsie area. I remember I was dating Bree at the time, and I remember having dinner with her and telling her, you know what, I'm going to move back home with my mom. And, I was 29 going on 30, and she was like so fired up that that was the decision that I was making,
Mhm,
because I was living in Poughkeepsie in my little $500 a month spot.
mhm.
And to her, it was how could you, like, why would you want to do that? Like, you're going to go back, you're moving backwards. But now, 5 years later, I'm in South Florida and I'm crushing, killing it, So it's like that was such a, like, when I heard that over the weekend, I was like, whatever challenges you're going through right now, 5 years in the future, you're gonna look back and be like, oh, that was because that needed to happen to bring me here, or I needed to go through that. I know it's cliche and it's pretty common, it's common sense, but I think as we grow and as we mature, we have more of a sense of the future. Because, like, I also heard that the more immature you are, the more you're just focused on yourself in the present moment. But as you grow as a person in maturity, your frame of reference expands. It might expand to your family, and then it might expand out to your family's future or your future, like that has a direct correlation to the level of maturity that you have. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it was an interesting thing because now I see myself giving myself those time frames where I'm like, if I'm stressing out or like I have this looming thing, I'm like 3 years or 4 years, 2 years from now, I'm gonna look back and be like, oh, that's why that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that that's, I was just saying this to a friend yesterday or 2 days ago because she's going through it and she's going to be 27 or 28
Mm.
next. She'll be 28 next March. And I'm like, yo, like she really feels like the best times are behind her, you know? And I'm like, yo, your 20s are this time where like you're trying to learn yourself well enough that you can then be successful in your 30s. And I was like, I'm 35 and I'm just figuring it out. Like I
Duh. Like barely, sometimes not.
yeah, same. I mean, like I am 6 weeks away from this year being over, and I'm like ready to shave off some of the rest of the bad juju from this year, put it behind me, let it go, and go into next year with these goals that I'm trying to hit, and I can do it. You know what I mean? So like it's really interesting, man. It really interesting how the passage of time works. I was even watching a video of myself from a long time ago, like 2017, man, when I was first trying to like put myself and my poems out there, and I ran out of gas, and yeah, it's
I remember when you were showing me the notebooks of, like, you were just writing, just filling out those notebooks. I remember that.
yeah, I mean, it's been a long journey of like trying to get the creativity out, and this whole experience has pushed me further into doing that, and like this experience has made me even more excited and focused on being a father and bringing life into this world. And like I'm going to be pretty specific with what I'm trying to teach and show my kids, but I'm going to do it with a lot of purpose, passion, and love, so I think that they're going to like it and not want to resist it. um but I'm really excited to show my kids what I know.
Yeah.
And like
Isn't it crazy how, like, we've been on the planet for 35, for you, 36 for me years. Oh, Chief, man. Well, good morning, Chief. We've been on the planet 35, 36 years, and like, yo, 30 years from now we'll be 60, you know? So it was like
I think about that.
we
Yeah.
still we still have we still have a whole life again, you know, to
Yeah.
live. Like, oh my gosh, imagine just being like, damn, I just got born. Oh my goodness gracious, through God's grace, you know, may we live long, healthy, and prosper. You know what I'm saying? And it's just interesting how that the next phase of our life is gonna be fatherhood, and really getting financially on point, being with our partners, and raising children and things like that. That's just such a like a to step into that world is like, oh, this is life. Shit. This is life. Like, it's about maturing and growing, and enhancing your vision, expanding your vision
Oh,
to, yeah, grow, like, to things out beyond yourself that fulfill you. Like, this is what God be feeling like and like talking about and things like that.
so I've learned so much about like early childhood brain development. The book taught me a lot of it too. I mean, stuff I learned in college, but like the book was like good refreshers. And like your brain from 0 to 8 is like downloading everything. So like you can create like I'm pretty sure it was Carl Jung said, show me a young man at 8.5 and or show me a little boy at 8.5 and I'll show you the man that he's gonna be.
Mm, mm.
Because your shit's like cemented by 8.5, and then you
Mm.
just like go experience everything that you've now created for your matrix.
Yeah, like your personality profile.
So like I have always been this type of like I'll sacrifice myself for the kind of like the greater good to like kind of get the shit moving. Like I definitely have taken the blame for things that I haven't done just to cover for other people type stuff.
Yeah.
This felt very sacrificial and like I'm gonna do this for to create something better out of it, but I'll be okay type thing. And I wonder if that got sent into me from 0 to 8 by the way my parents were behaving or treating me, and it made me like develop this complex of like, all right, I need to like go above and beyond for other people sometimes, like way too
Mm,
much.
mm,
So
mm. You
I'm
want?
really, huh?
I was gonna say, you want to hear a dumb story? Super
Good,
dumb.
good.
I Speaking about taking the blame for other people. I come from the hood, right? You got to stick up for your mans. If I get caught, and if I'm the one that gets caught, my friends get away, I'm not ratting on nobody.
Yeah, of course not.
I get first semester college, zoology, right? That's my major. I love animals. You know me, I love animals. First semester, probably like a week, right? Me and my friends that I made at the time got BB guns on campus. Skunk. Oh,
Dumb,
look at that skunk. Let's shoot at it with the BB guns on campus, right by the dorm room.
dumb.
Pow, 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 pow. Probably missed it. I hope we missed it. Skunk scurries away. We're walking. Campus police stop us. I have the bag with the BB guns, mine and my friend's BB guns.
Dumb.
And they open the bag. Oh, whose are these? And my friend looks at me, and I'm just like, both of them are mine, thinking I'm a cool guy. Like, all right, no problem. God, you see me out here. I'm no rat, God. You saw what I just did for my boy Shoy. I
Yeah.
took I, I took the bullet for him, the pellet for him, literally. And you know what I was rewarded with?
Fine.
Expulsion.
Yeah.
You're out of there. You're
Yeah.
out. You just Where you from? Jersey? Oh, you drove 5 hours north. You just got here. You're going back.
Yep.
So I had to set up. My parents had to come up. I had to appeal it. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. I had to bring out the waterworks. Met with the president, but I did such a good job of crying and pleading my case. Yeah, I was there for I was there on a scholarship now. So like the actual real kid of me was like, yo, I'm actually a good kid. And I just got caught up taking the blame for people. You know, take it even
Yeah,
like whatever, like I did whatever, I did my part, but it got reduced all the way down to probation, you know, like where I just had to do some community service from
nice.
getting kicked out. So yeah, I feel you, brother. Maybe that is something in our personality profiles that we picked up, you know, along the
Yeah,
way.
yeah. I'm like, I think so much about having them now. Like I know their names and I think so much about what they're gonna be like.
Mm,
And I'm just so excited to watch them develop because I just we're gonna pay so much attention to them, man. Like
yeah,
that's the biggest thing is kids don't get enough attention and then it just fucks them when they're older. So
definitely, definitely. Man, I'm looking forward to walking that path with you, brother. That's gonna
yeah,
be fun, man.
we have 5 minutes left. Do you want to keep going?
Uh, yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, I think we got a good flow here. Um, I'll just I'll cut it when there's like a minute left and then we'll continue to chop it. So
Yeah, keep that show rolling.
if
Yeah.
you're still tuning in, we appreciate it. It's good to be back. It's good to have some dialogue. Um, one of the things I always like to segue to, have you found anything in your daily job or life that makes you believe in synchronicity, that you're on the right path, that you're going where you need to go?
Oh yes, yesterday. Yesterday I was with one of, you know, I was with a lovely lady that I really enjoy spending time with, and we were at our hangout spot, and a flurry of synchronicities happened in the day where one of them was like one of the guys put some she was actually looking to get get some fumes, right? Some smoke, you know what I'm saying? Some
Hmm.
best buds.
Hmm.
And we chilled there and you know, I hit up my boy Trell and Trell was not good. So we was about to leave, but then one of our boys came and she asked him, he was like,
You
where you
can't
guys going?
just go to somewhere in Florida, this a dispensary.
She don't have no card.
It's legal. You could just got to be 21 and up.
The card though, or at least I think whatever. We do it the old fashioned way, man. We do it the old
No,
fashioned
I
way.
know. I know. I'm just saying that like it's 2023 now. You just walk in 21 and up, bro.
Maybe. But the point of the story is she put it out there and it came to her. Then there was money on whatever, there was some dollars on the table, right? Unrelated. And then I'm like, yo, don't leave them right there. The wind is gonna blow them away. The wind came like 30 seconds later, or 15 seconds later, blew his shit away. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go get that. So they ran and got it. And then we was talking about some spiritual shit like at the crib because we had a great conversation. My boy called me and she was like, "No, take the call, take the call." And I put him on speaker and we was talking about God and spirituality, and he was talking about some entities and stuff like that. And you
Oh, cool.
know, her and I was about to go, you know, go back to the room for our little sexy time, right? And right when we left, got up off the couch, music starts playing on my phone, mad randomly. After we had that spiritual conversation, so I'm like, oh shit, the music just started playing. She's like, oh, I'm scared now. I'm like, don't be scared. My house is full of immaculate vibes. Nothing to... But yesterday was literally a day full of synchronicity where it's like, yeah, I'm right where I need to be. What about you?
Yeah, and now I'm feeling the flow, not a care in the air of which way I go.
Oh
Right
yeah,
way.
any synchronicities for you?
I had a crazy thing happen today. Um, people I have so many conversations with people at the gas station every day that like I'll probably have a conversation with you and then you'll come up and get gas 3 or 4 weeks later and you'll remember me, but I really won't remember you
Mm,
because I've talked to so many people in the gap that the last time we talked. So we may have had like a great 5 to 10 minute conversation and you got my name and I got yours, but I forgot, you know what I mean? And this woman pulled up today and she was all gas to see me. And she was like, "Hey, how are you?" And I was like, I'm always cheerful. I'm like, I'm good. How are you? What can I get you? So I get their gas going. And she was like, oh, you grew your beard out. And I was like, yeah, I grew my beard out because I'm doing acting for the high school play up at the Millbrook School. And she was like, oh, you're an actor. And I was like, yeah, I can act if I have to. I was like, that like trying to act. I was like, I'm trying to do public speaking with this whole thing. So I started to explain to her this because she like didn't really know. Sometimes I either keep the glove on and people don't notice it, or sometimes people just straight up don't notice it. Like in the summer when I wouldn't have the glove on, people just wouldn't notice it. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I literally have to be like, look, and then they go, oh shit. So I was explaining that to her, and I'm explaining how like I'm getting into public speaking and all this stuff, and I have a possible gig lined up soon and all this yada yada yada. And she was like, well, first, what it really was I was like, I did acting before. And she's like, oh, you studied acting? And I was like, yeah, a while ago in Los Angeles at a small conservatory. And she's like, and I was like, but LA is weird. And I just like didn't want to keep doing it. And then I was like, I did background in Brooklyn in 2019, and then COVID hit and it just kind of went away. And she's like, I had a really good friend in LA who was a producer, and she didn't like it. She said everybody was really mean all the time, and there's like a big hierarchy of power, which is very true. And she's like, she said her friend was like, I want to get into being an agent for authors, because she was like, authors are quiet, calm people if they write books, right? And I said, that's awesome. Did she end up doing it? She goes, yeah, she's my best friend. She lives here in town. I'm like, in town? She's like, yeah, in town. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm trying to write a book for this. Like, that's like the thing. Like, my two goals next year are write a book, get an agent. It's
Wow.
very simple.
Yeah, I think you told me about that too.
Very
About
simple.
the agent part, and now this manifested.
Dude, and she really likes me. She's super cool. And then she was like, do you write poetry at all? And I was like, yeah, I do actually. I write poetry. And she's like, there's a woman who lives right down the road on Rodrigo Knolls where fucking Sammy Riz lived, and she is a professional poet, and her favorite thing is to get poets published. And like, bro, I have a book of poetry. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Sitting, waiting. I've been had a book of poetry. I already even know the name of the book. Like, have a book of poems waiting, ready. So like, it's
You got ammo in the chamber, man.
yeah,
Sam Riz was a
yeah.
girl that I dated bad, but that and
I mean, Sam Rizzo's the link between us.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
The
and
literal link between us, and now we best friends for. Man, that's awesome, brother. That's awesome.
like, I am hopefully going to speak up at the school in December. I know I have a gig on December 16th at a wellness retreat. It's just not to my initial target audience of athletes and youth. It's more to like people in their 20s and 30s. But like, honestly, dude, my message, everybody loves my message.
Yeah.
My message is regret sucks, and we all have it. And I've been there too. And dude, regret is such a weird thing. Regret is like the common cold. It comes in, it has seasons where it comes back around. There are things that can trigger it, and all of a sudden you got the sniffles again and regrets here, and you got to just kick it away. And how do you beat a common cold? You exercise, and you get some sunlight, and you enjoy your day, and you feel good about the now. It's the same thing with regret, man. Like, if I wallow in my regret, and it's funny, regret doesn't usually get me when I'm on my feet during the day. But when I'm laying down and going to sleep, and I'm more dormant and docile, regret finds a way to go, man, imagine if we never went to Tucson. And like, I think about the craziest things. So like, I understand what it's like to go through that, and I have ways that I beat it. I practice those ways all the time when regret tries to creep in. And I know that if you're a young person from 6th grade to your junior year of college or senior year of college, or if you're a middle-aged person out of college in your 20s or 30s, or even your 40s, 50s, or 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, hundreds, doesn't matter how old you are, you have regretted something.
You know what
I,
they you know what they say, don't trip on something that's behind you.
yes. Yeah.
So what's
But
one
it's,
reason why, go ahead. I was gonna say help the audience out of some practical ways that they could get past that, but also continue on.
well, that's what I was going to do. I was going to say it's easier said than done. It's not the easiest thing to do, and what it comes down to for me is just telling myself, Corey, we can't go back to the past. There's no way to go back to it. And like I said this to the woman who I was talking to all this about today, the whole reason this story happened, and I was telling her about, the book I'm going to write and the poems and stuff, and uh she was like, how do you get past it? And I said, uh I it's a lot of self-talk.
Mm,
I always have so much dialogue with myself, and it kind of brings me back to like finding yourself to be funny.
mm,
Okay. And like, if I feel regret come in and I start to overthink about something and I start to want to go back and rechange the past, if I think about it in a serious manner, it's harder to get out of. But the
interesting.
moment but the
Yeah.
moment I think about it in a silly manner, the moment I josh about it or kid about it with myself or the situation, if I can look at it and laugh at it, it's great. And like,
Mm,
there is this really funny senior actor at the prep school who has a really fun, bubbly energy, and she's very funny. And her character in the play, when I was doing this one monologue, is supposed to actually be watching me, like they're a person in a play watching me perform.
mm.
So a few other characters are with them as well. But when I started to do my thing, they would always like clap and be like, and it would make me laugh on stage. And the first night, dude, I started doing my monologue and I started laughing, and I'm like, yo, Ivy is so funny. And I like say that in my head, and then it like makes me like trip up, and like it was all good. It didn't matter,
Yeah,
but like you
yeah.
can even see in one of the clips that I finish and I start laughing and giggling because like it's just fun to be playful. And
Yeah.
that's the biggest point I try to hammer in when I am in front of an audience of people and I'm telling them about regret and how it happens to everybody and it happens to me, and it still comes back to me from time to time. And they go, how do we beat it? I go, you laugh, you get goofy, you get silly. There's the most direct line to beating it is laughing at it.
Mm,
It is,
it,
and admitting it and expressing it and being like, bro, I ran into the fence myself. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, like I did it to myself, and then like I didn't pay attention to it, and like I missed it, and like it's whatever.
It's like
Like,
it breaks up the grip that it has on you in the moment. It like it breaks it up. It's so fun. It's so funny you mentioned play too, because I saw Jordan Peterson live, and I was very fortunate to see him. I think this past February, or maybe even last February, I forget. But one of the main premises of his lecture was play, like talking about how, because the way that he does his lectures is so interesting, where he will just basically walk us through like a dialogue that he's having in his mind about some current issues that he's wrestling with.
yep,
And the issue at the time was, how does what are one of what is a good way to organize a structural hierarchy within a civilization, like an advanced civilization, that is different than power? Because power seems to be, everybody's go-to way of organizing a structural hierarchy. And he was leaning towards these studies that play was a very conducive way that we basically find our way towards mutual benefits when it comes to our interactions with each other as people. And he was like, we learned this from very young, that if you're not a certain way, nobody's going to want to play with you. And so you're going to ostracize yourself from, necessary social learning abilities that kids need to go through. So kids inherently know that I kind of need to be a kid. Not only that I want to be a kid that's playful, because it's fun and it brings me to play with other people, which increases the fun. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like creating games, basically, creating games that other people want to play. That's a whole other that's a whole other cerebral activity that lights up, where you're involving people and you start thinking differently. So it's interesting how you can even use play to transcend regret, you
Yeah.
know? It's underestimated. When I was little, I was big on toys. I had toys in college, brother. Yeah, I was that guy. I had
Yeah.
toys in Shannon Brown's room, still buying Transformers, and but because I didn't want to let go of that. And it's so interesting. And I want to know, do you have a hallmark experience like the one I'm about to lay out? I remember when I dropped acid in 112, and I had done I think I had a major trip earlier in the day, and you know how it's like 9 hours long. Then I was in the chill zone, my area of the house. I was by myself. And I remember I was writing. So I was writing line by line, like I am love or something like that. And I remember it was line, line, line. But then I started like getting more playful with it, like drawing outside the lines. And then but I was still writing I am love, but I was like making these different shapes. And I'm like, yo, look at how I went from my left brain to my right brain, where it was like illustrated right in front of me. And I put these crystals organized in the same way as some symbol that I found in one of the shapes I was writing. And I started playing with myself, pause. And I started thinking, and then I started coming to the realization, like, oh, snap, that childlike shit, like feeling is coming back. And so, the classic inner child was awakening. And I remember that event specifically when I think about, oh, I found my inner child again. Because I feel like people as adults, we have to go through that again, where you need to get that part back. Do you have any moments or a moment where you were like,
I think it's definitely moments. I think that like the child for me has like come back and in and out in different ways. I think that like there's part of growing into adulthood where you have to put the child away.
hmm,
I think for a long time I didn't want to put it away, and I was like constantly on playful mode. I mean, here's an example of that. The first day I ever met Tane, Tyler was like, yo, come to Vanderbilt. We're going to do that walk that you and Shawnee do. And like, bring a couple L's. I got 4 guys. And I was with Shawnee and Stevie Flynn and like somebody else. We pulled up, right? I pull up and Tane's getting out of the car that he's in with Tyler. And he's like, what's up? I'm Tane. I heard you guys know a lot about the numbers and stuff. I'm really like, I think it's really cool. He's like being mad polite, right? I get out of the car. I have no shoes and socks on. And I go, how much time do you got? And he goes, no time. I don't, there's nothing I do. I go, good. We're gonna need about 3 hours, and I'm not gonna, you're not gonna wear shoes. Like I'm gonna walk this hole in the woods with no shoes for 3 hours and just tell you about numbers and spirituality and everything. You know what I mean? And like,
time you got?
I think that's a great example because like Tane is much further along in his career as somebody who speaks professionally. He's a stand-up comedian,
Mm-hmm.
Much further along in his career than I am, because he's definitely been an adult longer than I have, where I've just like still been hammering kid mode.
Interesting. Yes, sir.
Like, yes, he's channeled his kid mode greatly. I mean, some of his videos, especially during COVID, crushed. I mean, that's why he was
Comedy. comedy,
Yes.
laughter.
Yes, he's great. He's absolutely great, but he's also found a way to be an adult and manage himself and get himself out there. And
Mm, mm,
you know,
mm,
it also
mm, mm.
helps when you're in LA. Um but yeah, I mean, you know, I think that the kid still doesn't really want to give up much of the driver's seat to my adults. I say all the time, I'm the talent, not the business, and just let me get out there and do my thing. And that's even more why I want to write this book. I have been not writing a book for many years now. Ever since we wrote the I Am Love, I've just been like not getting a book out. I've had many ideas for a book and I haven't gotten one out. And this is just like, okay, like this needs to have I need to write the story about this. I need to write what this has taught me. And then I can get into how I've known. So it's so weird, man, and it sounds so cliche, but like so much of what this has taught me is stuff I already knew,
Mm,
but I needed to get such a heavy slap by my higher self. My ego needed such a slap that I needed to lose 2 fingers to go, okay, let's settle down. Let's get this message out. Let's actually, you know, push this thing the right way. You know what I mean? And like I feel just like you were saying before, how like your maturity goes from like here to outward. I feel it's so easy to see the ways I'm trying to go,
yeah.
you know,
And
and
like,
it,
mhm, go
I've
ahead.
I just, you know, a side quest for me has always been music, and I'm finding more and more people that are willing to produce for me. And I even have created my own monster with my buddy out in Tucson who I showed EDM, and now he loves it and he's starting to produce himself. And in a few years he's probably going to be pretty ready. So uh
That's the interesting thing about actually starting to walk the path that is the one that is, I would say, closest to your highest path, you know, or the one that's closest to your most
yes,
fulfilled path is that
nail on the head, Jay.
we have this notion that if I live the life that is my most fulfilled or like, you know, closest to God or whatever the case may be, when I'm most filled up inside, I'm giving up certain things that I might want right now. But I think what it really is that when you start walking that path, it is actually going to bring you into adventures, like adventures that are still related to your original side quest. You know,
Yes.
I don't want to say original side quest, but like your music thing is a prime example. You know,
Yeah.
like and it becomes more of life is actually an adventure. It's not this monotonous thing that I have to trudge up a hill. You know, I got to carry the boats all day long. Like, I get it. You know, I carry the boats, but it's like now I'm starting to see like there's times where I could just be up in the boat,
Yeah.
swimming to an island where I do a show, you know, and music. Then I get back in the boat. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
That's what this did for me is it made me go, I physically can't carry boats anymore. I need to get on and sail.
yeah,
I need to sit on the boat and ride for a bit. And like I've never done that for myself. I've always been the guy that's speaking in your workout videos. I'm waking up before you. I'm beating you to the chicken. I'm getting the egg. I'm doing it. I've always been that gear. And I've never just been like, all right, let me just, I'm fine. I'm
right.
good. I'm fine. I have it all. All I need to do is just wait for this to come and I'm gonna bap it out the park, you know. And you know, it's part of my numbers, man. Everything I reach for, I won't get. I need to sit back and let things come to me. And I'm the master of the numerology. And I still have to learn every day about my own numbers and my own characteristics and how to work them in a more balanced way, you
Right.
know.
And I think that's a great place to wrap it up. This definitely felt nice and wholesome. And I feel like I'm definitely gonna watch this back, and just there's a lot in this, a lot of benefit. I feel like.
Yeah, a lot of gems.
Yeah. So, guys, if you got anything from this show, definitely let us know in the podcast. What are the parts that stuck out to you? Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Young Avell, for more exclusive content. Before you got anything before we sign us off?
Corey McEnroe speaks. I'll put it on. I'll edit this and I'll put it up there. Corey McEnroe speaks. I'll put the Best Buds tracks in the beginning and the end. There'll be Best Buds track playing right now. When you were talking before, there's gonna be Best Buds track playing in the background. Real quick, I showed my boy, one of my boys who wants to make me beats. He like makes like rhythm, like he makes like real experimental bass. It's in pocket. It's very experimental.
Okay.
He's good. He's good. He messes with the nose kitty a little too much, but he's very talented. He's a really, really special kid, and I really like him. And I played him Thank You. He was like, he's listening to it.
Negative the energy, but even still, I won't consider you an enemy. For me to think like that, that's a liability. I move like all my skills.
I know you do.
Yes, sir.
I ain't mad at you.
So yeah, that's playing in the background right now. I'm sure y'all dig it. We shall see. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
For what? For the inspiration. So nice. It's so nice. Thank you. For what? For the inspiration. It's real nice.